friends, reptiles, enemies secretly watching these videos and steadily developing some charitable feelings towards me. Hello. Welcome. If you're here, I'm going to assume that you saw the video at the beginning of January about using the first month of the year to tackle the pile, capital T, capital P. Well, I'm back. We're done. It's February. It's time to compare notes on how we did. So on my front, not great. Let's talk about the positives. I had a series of things that were top priority because they'd been in the pile last year. The blouse, I got the buttons done. I'm not convinced I picked the right buttons, but I figured some buttons were better than no buttons. So that blouse now has buttons and buttonholes, and I am happy with it. The kimono overdress. So having enthusiastically said that I definitely had more of that fabric, I actually dug through the entirety of that bag of scraps, and oh boy, did I only just have enough fabric. But it's fine. We did a little bit of piecing. I now have straps. I have not yet attached the straps to the dress. I still need to do that. But the straps exist. We are a significant percentage further along this process than I was previously. It had also occurred to me that once I add the straps, I then need to add some way of attaching the sleeves to the straps, probably with lacing. Trying not to think about that many eyelets. The green Renaissance dress. The scope creep dress continues to creep. So I have worked on this quite a lot. Not that you can tell. A lot of what I did was boring, fussy handwork. I started looking at the fact that the bodice, the edges weren't rolling quite in the right way, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll re-iron it. And then I realized that the whole thing had been sewn together by hand really badly and was in fact coming apart. So I essentially re-sewed the bodice and finished all of the raw edges on the trim. It still doesn't have eyelets, and I haven't even started on the skirt. Let's not even talk about the embroidery, okay? Do you know how much embroidery I got done this entire month? About 6 stitches. That wasn't all I did though. I fixed the waistband on that skirt, I fixed the insertion lace on the white dress, and I patched the knee on the cream trousers. I ended up doing a patch on both knees just to even it out. I don't love how it looks, but I've kind of accepted that these trousers are now in the realm of extreme casual wear rather than anything that I would wear properly. I'm having a bit of a trousers crisis at the moment because all my current pairs of trousers are giving up and they never really fit me to begin with. It is time. I need to make myself trousers. I also, and I'm proud of myself for this, and this is definitely the reason why I'm filming this quite late on February 1st, but I did finish sewing the knitted blanket all together. All the ends are woven in and trimmed. It is one piece. It is massive, but I knew it was going to be. So the knit blanket is now finished, and I can choose the next person in my immediate friend circle who will have an ugly knitted blanket thrust upon them, and it will no longer be in my house. That's how these things work. And then to my credit, I don't know if I want to claim this as finished or not, because I am kind of done, but I also think I could keep going. Anyway, the cream jacket that was one of my doublet mock-ups. Basically, I held it up and went, if I was still wearing this for the purpose that I intended, for the character that I'd originally planned to wear it for, what would I do with it? You know, that was a character that I wanted to play, that was a character I was excited about costuming. It seems reasonable that I might do that again. So I sifted through my stash, I dug out a whole bunch of trims, and I went wild. I am significantly happier with it the way that it is now. It is ridiculous, and that is what I wanted. At the same time, I feel a bit guilty claiming it as a finished thing because I don't think it's finished. I think I could do more. The sleeves are kind of bare in comparison to everything else. It could have beads. Like, imagine if it had beads. So I don't think I'm done. So in total, that is 5 finished things and 3 in progress things, which is not terrible, but I've definitely done better. The sharp-eyed among you will have noticed that I said, oh, don't do anything productive in January. Just work on your pile. Don't do anything else. If you've seen recent announcement on my Instagram, and spoilers, there's something else coming later this month, I worked on a lot of other things than just my pile. I gotta remember that I'm not just doing this for me anymore. This is rapidly becoming a second job, and that's cool. Easily the most fun job I've ever had. Probably one of the more stressful, but I digress. Don't feel bad about that. Like, it's not you guys' fault, mostly. So now we are but a few days away from the Year of the Dragon, which, as previously mentioned, one of mine, I still haven't figured out if, like, your year is supposed to be good for you or not. I kind of don't care. I just think dragons are cool. But one of the things that I wanted to think about as we move into the remaining 11 months of the year is what my plans and goals for the upcoming year are. Part of this being increasingly more like a job means that increasingly I have to have more structure. I found it's very easy to get swept up in trends and chasing new ideas and being very responsive, but not actually digging down into the stuff that you really enjoy. Sometimes that's good. A lot of success on social media comes from being able to ride those waves, right? But at the same time, I look back at the last year or so and I'm like, there's some things I really like that I haven't done a lot of in about 12 months. So let's have a think about how we can fix that. I say we. This is all on me. You don't have to do anything. I'll just be here for you to watch whenever you want. Anyway, so looking at the year ahead, obviously Halloween, the entire month of October, as you can probably imagine, I'm going to be doing nothing but Halloween content. But I would like to attempt to plan further in advance so that there can be more Halloween content, because who doesn't want more Halloween content? 2023 Halloween really snuck up on me and I didn't have a plan. I already know what my plan for this Halloween is now, and fingers crossed I can actually start working on some of it. I'm actually really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be great. Very much in the vein of the January that's just gone, I really want to spend this year focusing on finishing stuff. And I don't even necessarily just mean the stuff that I've already got in progress, although yes, I need to finish many of the things that I have in progress. But I was sorting through my fabric stash and I kept pulling stuff out and going, oh yeah, I was going to make this. I have so much stuff that I was going to make. I know exactly what I was going to make with it and I just haven't done it yet. So we're just going to get into that. Stop thinking about it and just do it. None of these things are beyond you. Get it together, Ash. Related to that subject, I may have mentioned this one or two times previously, but I really cannot overstate it enough. My fabric stash is out of control. This has gone way beyond a reasonable amount of fabric for any normal human to have, and I need to do something about it. It's causing problems. There is not enough room in the sewing room for all of this to exist. So one of the things I'm going to be doing this year is having a real concerted effort to just make stuff. Use up everything, not everything, it's never going to be everything, but use up as much as possible. This plan of just do the projects that you have planned is part of it. I can see this being a very ongoing process. Some things like, so I have loads of fabric for making kirtles out of, both kinds, the sort of 16th century bodiced kirtle and also the 14th century fitted kirtle. I've been working on refining and perfecting the patterns for those. Pretty happy with the bodiced kirtle. 14th century kirtle needs a bit of work. Body's fine, sleeves are not happy. But either way, once I've got one pattern ready to go, I've got another pattern that is almost there, and then I can just batch make. I'm going to be making like 12 kirtles, which is great for making videos out of. So I'm hoping this coming year there's going to be more of the kind of, here is how you make a thing, watch me make several variations on this thing, talk you through all the steps, that sort of a video, which is also good for me because those videos do really, really well. I do also just need to make more stuff though. I need to just churn out a whole bunch of stuff. And okay, so to backtrack, I said I was going through my stash. The reason I was going through my stash is that I am finally going to a LARP that will actually happen. I'm very excited, and by excited I mean nervous, because it's a new LARP and that's always a little bit nerve-wracking. However, I started thinking about how I wanted to costume this character, and I'm not going to go into too many details because I would like to do a video about this as well, probably come out sometime in the summer. I wanted to see how much stuff for this one character I could make out of stash fabric. If I didn't make a plan and then try and find fabric to match it, but if I came up with a general idea, found the fabric and then worked backwards to make the plan, would that work? I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work really well. I'm also quite optimistic that it's going to do me a lot of video content. So I picked a color scheme for this character and I realized that I've taken about half of my stash with this one color scheme, and then I was like, you could just do the same thing but with the other half half of your stash, slightly different parameters. You don't need to have a character for it. You'll just have a lot of really versatile costume staples. So we might just do that, which kind of leads me on to the two of the other things I want to do more of on the channel. One of them is the Field Kit Wardrobe series. It kind of lost steam a bit. Part of the problem is that I had a very set order I wanted to do things in. The videos are not that popular. Certainly for a good chunk of 2023, that really got to me, that I was putting a lot of effort into these quite information-dense videos, and then basically no one was watching them. I'm going to turn you all into LARPers one way or another. I hope you know that. But it's something that I enjoy, and I think it's a really good resource to have out there, and so while it is maybe less straight-up entertaining as some of my other content, I do want to keep working on it, and I do want to keep sneaking those videos in when I can. But I'm also just going to be a lot less rigid on myself with, I wanted to follow a very clear progression of making costumes out of clothes that you could thrift or buy, through getting into sewing and making your costumes out of first very basic Big Four pattern company patterns, and then exploring very simple patterns that you can draft yourself, which the tunic video and the split side skirt kind of qualify in that bracket. I think those are both great staples to have in that toolkit, and we're already gone out of order. And then getting into sort of the exciting historical stuff. And I just think I need to mix it up a little bit more, because it turns out that there aren't that many LARPers following the whole thing through, but there are people who are interested in thrifting, and there are people who are interested in historical costuming, and there are people who are interested in just very easy sewing projects. And by jumping around a little bit more, I can catch more of the attention of all those different people and bring a little bit more enjoyment to more of you. Also, I need you to know that I designed characters for the Field Kit Wardrobe project, and I've been sitting on 3 out of the 4 of them for like 2 years at this point. I'm just going to start giving you character content, which I guess is another thing that I want to kind of get back to. Is, again, not enough of you watch the LARP content, but there's not enough LARP content on YouTube, and there's very little practical LARP content on YouTube in terms of this is what going to your first LARP looks like, this is what you're going to have to do, this is how you build a good character, this is how you make your costume interesting, here's some tips for role-playing in certain ways. Do you use your voice? Do you use your body? I think video is one of the better ways of talking about LARP, and I want to talk about LARP more, because that is one of the threads in this channel, is LARPing. Another, obviously, is costuming, which leads me on to one of my other goals that I feel like last year or two I just haven't really done any big projects. I feel like 2020, 2021 I was really good for big, flashy, eye-catching, original designs, and I haven't done anything like that for a while, and I'm missing it. So I've got a few things in the works, and there's a few big projects that I know are in progress that I can pick up and keep going with. But mostly I just really miss doing big, silly projects just because I wanted to do big, silly projects. And I think part of that was that at the time I was not seeing the payoff for the big, silly projects. I made a cathedral dress, hardly anyone saw it. I made punk rock moraine, hardly anyone saw that. I painted that whole Moby Dick gown, hand painted, basically no one saw it. And yeah, they weren't great videos, but I just got a bit burnt out on doing big projects, and now I miss them and I want to get back to it. I'm not going to be doing like a big multi-piece costume every 2 weeks or anything like that. I would like to see a few more big makes coming to the channel over the course of 2024. And then getting into sort of the remaining strand from this channel, so you have LARP and you have costuming, and then you have crafts more generally, with the idea that those crafts work for making your costumes and your LARPing better. I just like making these. I just really like the other people out there who are like, I don't have one hobby, I want to do all of the hobbies. You're my people, and I really want to get into both being able to share things that I do that are sort of sewing adjacent, that I think other people who do sewing would be like, oh, that's another interesting thing that is not actually that difficult and I can just hop into. So there's a bunch of stuff that I do quite a lot of that I want to bring to the channel, like weaving or maybe some foam craft, but also there's things that I have tried once or I want to get into more. I really want to have a go at printing, woodblock or lino cut printing, but cutting my own blocks. This feels like a bad idea. It feels like I shouldn't be allowed sharp objects, but there you go. I really want to do more leather work. Better application of the skills that I have, I think, is probably the most political way of saying it. I really like to bring you along with some of my experiments in bookbinding that are happening at the moment. That's the thing that I've got into recently. There's a few others. I'm kind of hoping that I can keep the format of those vaguely similar, either as like my spinning video where I'm talking from some experience and I can say, look, this is the equipment, this is how you get started, here's a quick tutorial, just like a bullet point, here are all the things that you absolutely need to know about. Go off and do more research on this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, depending on what you want. And then on the other side, you've got crafts that I'm really new to, which is more of, hey, look, I'm trying a thing, let's fail together. It's a little bit more entertainment based than education based. And that brings me on to the final thing I want to really focus on this year, which is collaborating more. By more, I mean at all. Again, this was something that I really tried to get into in the early days of my channel in a way that in hindsight didn't really work for me or anyone else. CosTube of 2020 was a very different place, I think. With hindsight, the sort of sew-along collabs didn't necessarily count as collabs. I want to talk to people, you know? But now I'm in a place where I'm not 10 to 100 times smaller than every channel I would consider approaching. I'm really excited to just connect with other creators and share ideas and experiences. And I obviously can't make any promises because everyone is super busy, myself included. But if there's anyone that you're like, wow, Ash and this person could have a really interesting perspective on this thing, like, let me know. Who knows? It might happen. Mostly I just love seeing what other people are doing, and I really hope you guys are excited to see what I'm doing, as well as everyone else, obviously. I want all the crafty LARPy YouTubers to succeed. Just want everyone to do well. It's not too much to ask. Oh, the final thing that is on my list for this year is just maintain an upload schedule. I got into a really good place in 2023, and then some stuff happened with my real life job. Real life job? My day job. My other job. The one that I am salaried for. Some stuff happened and I lost a lot of my free time and I lost a lot of energy. One of the fun roller coasters of the last year has been, like a lot of people, when all structure was removed from their lives, I had to face up to the fact that my brain doesn't work the way 9 to 5 humans' brains are supposed to work. And so I've done a lot of introspection and learnt a lot about neurodivergence, and one of those things was how to not get burnt out. So I scaled back, I reduced the number of videos I was doing. That kind of sucked, but it also meant that I didn't just die and disappear for 3 or 4 months, and I could keep some kind of schedule going. I really want to get back to at least once every 2 weeks. My real goal is weekly, but realistically I don't have enough free time to do weekly. I just really want to do weekly because I have so many videos I want to make and not enough time to make them. However, all that is behind me. I'm in a much better place with my real person office job. My work-life balance is a lot more balanced, and by that I mean I have a lot more time free from my 9 to 5 to work on my other job, which is this. It's a good thing this job's fun, right? But yes, those are the broad goals, right? Finish more stuff, use up your stash, big projects, collabs, maintain the themes of the channel, which is LARPing, costuming, and crafting, regular upload schedule. Let's do this. Of course, without further ado, you know how this works. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep the YouTube gods happy. Follow me on Instagram or any other platform to see pictures of my cat. I swear I'll post a TikTok again sometime, probably. And down in the description box you'll find a link to my Ko-fi page where you can make a one-off or recurring donation to support my channel. And I don't have a clever thing to say here, okay? I'm buying an embroidery machine. That's what I want. I want an embroidery machine. It's gonna cost like 2 grand all in, and that's buying second hand. I've done my research. These things are expensive. Ko-fi supporters get early access to all of my videos, and I couldn't do what I do without their help. Thank you so much, all of you. Let me know in the comments how many projects you got done this month. Dream big, and I'll see you next time.